All right, I just want to do a quick video. This one is off the beaten path from Samantha and the ones that I've been doing, but it does tie in a little bit because of her connection with Robert Wagner and Lime Street. But anyway, a few days ago, I received an email from Marti Rulli, and she was infuriated by some media reports that Robert Wagner had been cleared of all charges. And when I read that, I was shocked. I was like, what is going on? So she sent me a link to this article, and it says, Cops clear Robert Wagner and Natalie Wood death investigation. And so I continued reading, and basically said the investigation into heart-to-heart actor Wagner, lasting decades, has been closed, as reported by LASD Homicide Bureau Lieutenant Hugo Renaga. Wood's death happened under mysterious circumstances on her Wagner's boat. That's poor writing. The Splendor. Okay, so I'm thinking, what is going on? But so further down in the article here, they talk about a statement from Renaga. So it says all leads in the Natalie Wood case have been exhausted, and the case remains an open, unsolved case. So right there, he's saying that it's open. It hasn't been clear, hasn't been closed, which it said officially cleared. Has been closed as reported by LASD up about. So there's a contradiction right there. And the media loves to do this. They take statements and then spin it. So basically, what happened here was that the lead detective that was still on it, Ralph Hernandez, retired recently. I think in March. Yeah, it says there, down at the bottom there, assigned to the case, retired in March. And they're not going to put anybody new on it. So this is the end of the resources that they're going to put towards this, stating that they have exhausted all options. But if anybody has followed this case, and if you've read Marti Rulli's book, you would know there's plenty of evidence that would implicate Robert Wagner, circumstantial evidence. More than enough to get a grand jury at least convened to see if he should be put on trial. So what they're saying here, that they've exhausted everything. Well, Robert Wagner won't even talk to them. That's one thing. Number two, there's plenty of evidence, but the problem is that you've had district attorneys in Los Angeles who have just twiddled their thumbs with this, and they make up excuses. Oh, well, we need this in order to bring a grand jury. We need this or that. Or they'll say, yeah, we're going to look into it, and then they don't. I think Jackie Lacey was the one who was the DA when Robert Wagner was named a person of interest, and then now it's George Gascon, and neither of them have done anything. But anyway, so Marti released a statement on her Facebook page, and I'll put a link to that at the bottom of this video. And just go through this real quick. I don't think she'll mind that I'm putting this out there, because I'm sure she wants to be heard on this, because it is crazy that they would say that Wagner is cleared and that the case is closed when neither are true. And basically she talks about how she was receiving calls about and sent this article, and talks about Robert Wagner or Ralph Hernandez retiring, and goes on to say that Robert Wagner has not been cleared of wrongdoing. And so what she goes in to talk about, I'm sure today's published information will get plenty of coverage, which is troubling because it's awful information, and awful information always grows legs of its own. And she would know this. I mean, she's been, trying to get Natalie justice for almost 40 years now, and the hoops that she's had to go through involving the media, all of that. She's very, very knowledgeable about this. In 2011, just 2 months after the reopening of Natalie's case, one of the sheriff department's spokesperson put out garbage that the case was an exercise in futility and based on a book stunt, her book. And the case was announced closed even back then, and it obviously was not. And they've found a lot of evidence. People have come forward with new evidence. They've talked to people. Robert Wagner will not talk to people. Talk to the LASD. And so yeah, so you can go in and look at this statement on her Facebook page if you want to. I don't want to go through and read it word for word here, but you can see it here, and I'll post the link to her Facebook page as well. But I really just wanted to say, to point out that Marti has been working on this for almost 40 years with Dennis DeVerne, and they worked hard. Her book was basically the catalyst to get the case reopened. It wasn't what reopened the case, but they wound up doing a petition and some statements from people, and that wound up getting the case reopened. And then even after the case was reopened, they were saying, "Oh, well, they're not going to find anything." But then, voila, half dozen years later, Wagner's named a person of interest, and that's basically a nice legal way to call him a suspect, because he really is the only suspect. And people who have followed this know that there's only one person that they're looking at this point, and it's the person who was last with Natalie, and that was Robert Wagner. So I encourage people to go and really look into this case, and go visit Marti's Facebook page and start reading up on this stuff, and understand that it's a travesty what's happening to Natalie Wood here. It is. And she really does deserve justice. And I just wanted to bring this up real quick, and because it does tie into Samantha, and maybe I'll talk a little bit about that, Robert Wagner's relationship with Samantha, and all of the things that happened with that. It might be a good opportunity, a good time to do that. And so maybe in my next video, I'll start talking about the connections with that. But anyway, I just wanted to bring this up. Thanks for watching, and go visit Marti's Facebook page, read her book, look into this case, because it is not closed, and Robert Wagner has not been cleared. And that's basically the gist of it. All right, I'll see you on the next video. All right, bye.